We made it, folks. I can't believe it, but we made it through another E3. I am 28 years old. I know I don't look it. A little bit older. I have watched probably, I want to say, 12 E3s in interest. I've gone to 2 of them. Yeah. And we made it through the 2017 E3. Let's round of applause for us and for the video game industry. Come on, folks. Very, very exciting. This is VGS, the high art, low fun, sophistry-filled weekly game show where we discuss the business and art of video games. I'm your host, Andy Burkowski, and I'm joined this week for our special E3 show by Anton Mack. You don't see his face that often, but he's here. It's been a little while. You haven't been here in a couple shows.
Yeah, that's mostly because you told me not to come.
It's a good reason. Jesse is here as well. Jesse Earl.
You remembered.
I do remember your name now. What's your favorite game?
Dark Cloud.
All right, and we have Liam Brand is here as well. Goddamn, Liam has been with me. It feels like forever.
Your life partner, Andy.
Yeah, I don't like
Till death
it.
do us part.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. Overall, we had, it was a pretty fun E3. It was fun. I think our coverage this year was a lot better than what we've done in the previous years, don't you think?
We got some more personality to it.
Yeah, we got some personality. We had Hunter, who, of course, we all know and love.
A little bit too much personality.
You are right. You are right about that one. What did you guys think about E3?
Disappointment. A lot of disappointment.
God, it's so easy to be cynical, though, man.
Okay, I'm just...
Believe in something!
I can't believe in something when they just kind of threw out trailer vomit at me. That was
What
really
did you want, though? You wanted, like, some rote, overdone thought influencers coming out saying, like, hey, this is the game for me.
No, I don't know. It felt a very low-key. Nothing was really great this year, except for, whoop-de-doo, we got a new console that I don't really
You
care.
really thought there was nothing great this year?
There was nothing captivating. There was nothing that was like, okay, I need to get this now and go pre-order.
I'll agree that at least previous E3s have always had like a moment that like gets me up off like my couch and like jumping around.
You
or
didn't have
something
one
like
of
that.
those. For this
I had a like pretty damn excited moment, but I did not have an
So you were close to the edge.
oh shit, they just did that moment.
You were close to the edge, but not
Yeah.
quite off the seat.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. What
There
about
we
you,
go.
Jesse?
I was live tweeting the whole thing, and I was just enthused by.
Were you
everything.
actually? I can't tell because your voice has this natural cynicism.
I was actually live tweeting the whole thing. Here, cynicism aside, I live tweeted the whole thing. I watched every conference, and I actually thought, I don't know, I feel like everybody's being a little bit cynical this year, to be honest with you.
That's what I'm talking
It
about.
was not as bad as everybody wants to pretend it was.
It's because he's young, that's why.
That is the voice of youth that has not been jaded by
I've watched
society.
a good 4 E3s now. Not as many under my belt as you, but it's not nearly as bad as everybody wants to pretend it was.
Did everyone here raise your hand and say aye if you did have a moment where you got off the couch or got off the stool we were watching at E3 this year?
Aye.
All right, half the group here.
I'll put a half hand up.
You can't put a half hand.
Okay, well then I won't.
All right, so a lot of different organizations are going to do who won or what do they think was the best. And because we love to innovate here, we're going to do that exact same thing. Starting off with the conferences, which I think is kind of what you need to judge E3 by, really, ultimately. Because there are a lot of different publications that do extra coverage, but we weren't there. And essentially that's all the same thing, that no one's really getting like the hot scoop versus Kotaku, GameSpot, or IGN. But it is cool to see their extended coverage. So we're dealing with the conferences. We're going to start with who we thought lost. So there was 5 different conferences. Was there 5?
I mean, if we're going to include Nintendo and Devolver
I don't
in the
think
PC game show.
I don't think we're going to include those 3.
Yeah,
So
5.
for this, no Nintendo because it was a direct, but maybe we just talk about Nintendo right now. Overall, thumbs up or thumbs down on Nintendo for
thumbs
their
up.
direct?
A lot of
Big
impressive
thumbs
stuff.
up.
Yeah. So 2 thumbs up on that one.
Yeah, 2
Oh my
thumbs up.
God,
But,
Anton.
yeah, I'm a massive Nintendo fanboy, so. And also, just a little tidbit, they did kind of say there was going to be a standalone, Pokemon RPG for the Switch?
Yeah,
Yes,
just had
they
some
did
dude
say
come
that.
up and say it though.
Yeah, but at least it was something.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been like,
Rumor
they could have
control.
shot out fireworks or something like that. No, at least they said that it was coming.
So the big highlight was, of course, the 2 Metroid games. We haven't had a Metroid game in a real long time. And would you say Mario? Did I actually see some
That is
Odyssey?
the actual highlight. I don't care about Metroid. Give
No,
me
a
that sweet
lot of
Mario
people do, though.
gameplay.
Yeah?
Mario as a Tyrannosaurus Rex?
That shit looks insane.
But that's Mario.
It's next level Mario, man. I didn't think Nintendo still had it in them. That's just great to see.
It's GTA Mario.
Yeah, actually.
with a little bit of like Suda51's games, if you guys know him. No, just blank stares.
Don't worry.
Okay, so I think we all get a thumbs up for Nintendo. They did great in the Direct. I think they should come back and do some conferences, man. Don't do the Direct anymore. They got a Switch. They have a little bit of weight behind them. People love like their representatives. They love the Miyamotos. They love Reggie as brand ambassadors. I think they should be there, and they also have a flair of pageantry that I think a lot of the other brands were missing. And they're
Did
Japanese
you
as hell.
watch the Switch conference?
Okay,
What do you have to say about that?
Now let me switch.
Oh, come
over
on, that's
and,
their
like,
gimmick.
they did all that shit,
It's
and then
so
like,
fun.
but the big disaster was that the translators couldn't keep up, and it was
yeah.
just like a huge
was
pain in the
great.
ass. And when you do the Nintendo Direct, you kind of like eliminate all those things going wrong.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the Nintendo
It
Direct.
was cute when
I think it's a
Miyamoto came out on stage at Ubisoft and did the gun thing with the other guy.
God, Yves, the CEO of, or Yves, however you say things in French, of Ubisoft, is just like a little Keebler elf of a man, isn't he? Like, he never seems to understand what he's talking about, and he's always so happy, and it's weird because he's always surrounded by very competent game directors, so he seems like a lunatic. Anyways, so we're doing now who we think lost E3, our number 5 on the conference list. We saw them all, and I'm going to start. Number 5 for me is unequivocally, unabashedly EA Play. We started the week of E3 with thought influencers trying to tell us that these games are great, not inspired sports games that are introducing RPG elements like it's a big thing that like, whoa, you actually have a story now in your games. A lot of games have been doing that for a while, so I think it didn't resonate with me. And most of all, it was their former presentation. Nothing seemed true or honest from actual game makers. It was always representatives. You know, I hope she does a great job in the actual game, but the lead actress for Battlefront 2 was nauseating, I think. Like, it's reminiscent of Aisha Taylor, or however you say her name, I hope I'm saying correctly, from Ubisoft, who was not there this year, that just continuously, on and on and on, said the most gut-wrenchingly awkward and weird and kind of insulting things that a pretty girl could say to a room of nerds. Like, I really rubbed me the wrong way, and I will always hate the idea that someone who's popular on YouTube is being used as a presenter in these sort of events. We're going to talk about that later, but yeah, for me, EA Play, big thumbs down. One of the worst showings I think I've seen at an E3 in a long time. Really, really terrible.
Yeah, really bad note to kick it off.
Yeah,
that was
really
the first
bad.
one, like
God
just
awful.
But every year, isn't EA always the first people, like the first group to do a conference?
Yeah,
Last
did a
year they were
decent
strong,
job.
though. Last year was strong.
Last year
with
was
EA Play.
not as bad as this year.
Yeah, it's not as bad. But at the same time, I'd say in most E3s, including this year, EA is always bottom of my list.
Is that this year as well?
This year, for sure. It was uninspired. It felt too business-like. And
Yeah, man.
that's EA. But that's always been EA for the past, like, what, decade? So, I don't know. I don't have much more to say on it.
Their CEO is a supervillain as well. Like we saw him. He is a supervillain without question.
I can't argue with that picture
Yeah.
of him shot for shot next to.
No, it works out. Jesse, who's your loser?
It's obviously EA. If your
So-
loser wasn't EA, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, you saw a different conference.
It was just absolutely awful. I sat there and had to watch 2 men in blazers. That was just
How dare they?
Yeah, man, that's just as bad as it gets.
That was too painful for me, man. I got up and left
Jesse,
for a little
it's okay
bit.
to dress nicely. Like, it's not. I know
And
it seems
I'm-
weird now, but it's okay.
I'm really not a fan of. I think EA did it last year again with I believe Battlefield 1, but I am not a big fan of this half hour of gameplay for a big massive multiplayer game. I don't know what it is. It's just I don't think it does very well in the conference setting. I kind of like having people on stage saying, "Here is our next game. Here's somebody to talk about it for a little bit," and then we switch gears. 30 minutes of that is just long and drawn out.
Yeah, I think every conference had moments like that, though, where they just allotted a little too much real estate to one particular game. Liam Brand, who's your loser?
EA.
Yay!
I'm
Here
gonna
we
give
go,
him credit.
guys.
Unanimous.
I'm gonna give him credit. The no
well, then
Star
they're not
Wars
losers.
DLC move was a great announcement.
Okay, so
Oh yeah, sorry.
go
That
over
you
this
don't
a
have to
little bit.
pay for the DLC for Star Wars Battlefront 2. There's going to be like several expansions and map packs and all that, but they're all going to be free to everyone. No exclusive bullshit. No like pay for extra stuff. So really happy about that. I think that's a great move for EA. And they did announce Anthem, which was
the little teaser, yeah. And they did
it's
kick
a good
it off.
affiliation to have. It got me pretty excited for the next day. So I think those were the moments in which they shined, but it was just surrounded by a lot of crap, just so much.
A lot of crap. Everyone, hands up. We did it, boys. We all agreed on something.
Don't do that.
Props.
No? Okay.
That back
So-
where you found it or so help.
Number 4. I swear to Christ, Jesse. Number 4. So this is the one that it was almost bad enough to lose, but we still watched it all. For me, and this might be contentious, it was Bethesda, without a doubt. We only had the one representative on who's good. You know, he's the vice president of PR. We've had him on a lot. But the idea of a Bethesda land trailer for trailer, it didn't speak to feelings of innovation, even though I liked a lot of games they had. The new Wolfenstein looks very exciting. I am super excited about the new Dishonored DLC, the standalone DLC. Dishonored 1's DLC that focused on Dodd was up there for my game of the year when it came out because it was such a beautiful singular vision story. But why not get like the Harvey Smith and the folks from Arcane to actually come out and talk about it a little bit? Why not get the minds that make these games speak to it a bit? And we didn't see the stuff that'll kick your ass. We didn't see any Fallout. We didn't see the stuff that'll really, really push you aside. So it was a late night event, and you compare that, like we didn't even have Todd Howard. We didn't have the mind of Bethesda come out. That's a huge misstep for me. Let that little troll man come out because he is brilliant.
Weren't we just complaining about like all these people who come out and just make horrible, awkward speeches, and everybody hates them and wants them to go away?
Well, those are the
hates
PR
Todd
people.
Howard?
I know, and no, but I'm saying like,
I want the
Todd
producers.
Howard.
I want the
Todd Howard
producers.
aside, it's just like you're not going to find developers of video games that are well-spoken, funny people that are going to
I
present
disagree,
this
man.
game in an appealing way.
Oh, I
you are
so
you are
disagree with
so
that.
much better off just to have like a pre-recorded thing kind of run through your games rather than have some guy come out and you can stop with the noises.
I can actually turn off your mics. So
Yeah.
This is great. So I respectfully disagree.
Yeah.
And without respect, no, the thing for me that made this E3 really special was the passion from developers. So I know they can be weird and strange, but Pretty Boy Liam, you gotta love all people of different colors and shapes, man.
I get it, but when you're selling or presenting a game and you're coming out and you're stuttering and you're making like awkward jokes and whatnot,
I think the
it's
awkward
just
joke
like,
people are more the PR people.
oh, they're so bad. And it's like I have nothing against like, oh, that guy's ugly and he's telling me about his game. I
know that's what you
don't
think.
just want to cringe every time some idiot comes up on stage and is just disingenuous about their game.
Well, that's why the producers are not disingenuous. The people that make it like bled for this thing, and
but they're
really
not
want
always good
you-
speakers.
They're not always good speakers, but I'll rather have a guy that can't speak too good, that cares about the shit they're talking about, than a seasoned PR professional.
And I
trying
would
to
rather just have
navigate
a
you.
pre-recorded.
You don't like that though?
thing.
You don't like the idea of like having like a Neil Druckmann on stage to talk you through Last of Us 2?
I do when they're good. I don't think it needs to be every game. I think there needs to be like a little bit of an in-between. 'Cause
All right,
I
no,
would,
I'm
I
with
would
you
have
on
liked
that.
to see
I'm with
Todd
you on that.
Howard. I love Todd Howard,
Yeah.
but like I didn't need any more of that
Liam.
girl from Star Wars.
I agree.
Great.
We're on the same page.
I was just, reiterating, wrapping up.
Anton Mack,
Ayo.
number 4.
Number
Let's
4.
speed this up, guys.
So
it's taking too long. I'll kill myself.
I may get some flack for this, but Sony right down number 4. Honestly,
Dead to me.
honestly, I'm not a fan of the fact that they just threw out a trailer playlist when they could have easily put that on YouTube, Vivo, any like video streaming service. I use Vivo every once in a while. Like,
Bethesda
Throw it
did,
on
though.
Vimeo while
Yeah,
you're
that
at
is
it.
exactly what Bethesda did.
And
Yeah,
they're
but-
your number one.
But
Spoilers.
Bethesda actually tried. Like Sony was just like, okay, this finished, the lights go dark again, and then hey, guess what? We got Days Gone, a generic zombie game. Oh, I'm gonna get more flack for that. But once again,
They had
Sony
pyrotechnics.
at the like 4th, and especially for the fact that at the very end they were hyping up this like super Sony exclusive, and everyone's like, yeah, Last of Us 2, and guess what we got? We got Spider-Man.
which I'm hyped
Which
about.
people really liked, but it's not Last of Us 2. It was a
Exactly.
disappointing end. It was a disappointing end. We got to speed through. Jesse, what's your number 4?
Microsoft is sitting at number 4 for me.
I'm with him on that. Yep.
Real? Okay,
You know
so why don't
what?
you guys both share? So Liam and Jesse have Microsoft on 4, which is crazy to me. Yeah, speak to that a little bit, boyos.
I saw some really, really good games come out of Microsoft. I saw Cuphead, I saw Metro, I saw Anthem, and then to top it all off, they said, hey, you want to play this? It's going to cost you $700 Canadian.
No, that wasn't exactly what they said.
Okay,
They
that
just
wasn't
said
exactly
if you
what
want the
they
most
said?
optimal experience and you want
Why
4K
wouldn't I want the most
and
optimal
fast,
experience?
I have an Xbox One already. I'm not going to spend $700. But
Well, that was
continue.
why it was very unfortunate. We saw some great games, but then they said if you want to play it at the way they're meant to be played, $700 Canadian. And I already bought an Xbox One, and that just kind of hits me in a weird consumer spot that I don't like.
$50 the day
Oh,
after.
yay.
Hey, look at that.
Whoop-de-doo.
I'm
Run to
a
the
little bit
stores.
on a different note in which I didn't, other than Anthem, I didn't find any of the games interesting at all. I thought Metro looked this exact same as all the other Metro games. I think Cuphead has been around for like way too long. What?
The Metro games are real good, man.
I've always been kind of so-so on it.
Yeah,
But it's just,
no,
I
I
saw
love
it and
the
I was like,
aesthetic.
yeah, it looks like a Metro game. Like, good, I guess we're getting a new one, but it was nothing like, oh, they're doing that. Like, no, it was just pretty uninteresting.
Okay,
They had
so-
that pretty good co-op game, the couch co-op Jailbreak one. That was Microsoft,
that's
right?
EA.
Oh, was that EA?
God damn it, Liam.
well,
Now you got to
More
change your
points for
list.
EA. But, yeah, see, okay, Microsoft even had less.
Nothing
and
there
again,
excited you, eh?
no, not and the One X. I get it. Like, it's the most powerful gaming console ever, but I just think that price point is way too high,
Yeah,
and
so
anybody is ridiculous
We'll
to
speak to
celebrate
that a
it.
little bit later, but that's so we have going around the room Bethesda
Oh,
for number
Sony.
4. Sony.
Ubi.
No, you
Microsoft.
no.
Microsoft. What am I talking
Number 4,
about? Microsoft.
Microsoft. God damn it. And Liam, Microsoft. So
Yeah.
let's go through these for number 3, middle of the pack, the one that didn't really impress but didn't insult you so much that you wanted to spit on their memory. Let's do our number 3s. I think it's better if we just do it and then we'll talk about each one. So number 3 for me was Sony. Anton?
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft for number 3. Lunatic.
Ubisoft.
For number 3 and
Bethesda.
Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Sony, why it was the middle of the pack for me. It's a lot of the issues that Anton brought up. There was a sense of disappointment that we didn't get to see the console buyer, the reason that people still love all of these games, Last of Us 2. And instead, we did see Spider-Man, which I'm in your camp. Didn't impress me as much as it impressed others. But I did get to see a lot of Days Gone and God of War, which I enjoyed. But we didn't get the stuff that I wanted that I got from Ubisoft. I didn't just have like Cory Borlaug, who is the guy that made and is kind of shepherding God of War, come out on stage and be like, here we go, we're playing it. Like they did the year before when they introduced it. Remember what Sony did last year?
Yeah.
Kicked all of our asses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of the play it safe, not going to push boundaries. And you can't put Sony at 1 because of the Last of Us misstep. Like there's just
watch me.
I don't oh, spoiler alert. Don't think it can happen. All right, what was your number 3 again, Anton?
My number 3 was Ubisoft. So Andy hates me for this because he thinks it was passionately filled with people who love their games and stuff like
I
that.
spent like 25 minutes talking about this before. But yeah, go ahead.
The only reason it hit number 3 is because of Beyond Good and Evil 2. That was it for me. Ubisoft has always left a bad taste in my mouth, and the thing is, like, okay, what do we get from the conference? We got Assassin's Creed Origins, which looks like a generic Assassin's Creed game. We got The Crew? Cool, I could race around the States again for $90? No, I'm not gonna do that. And I don't know, Ubisoft just doesn't really do it for me, but that's all I got to say on that.
So for me, it's a little bit like you, except
just not for you.
Not for me.
my big game for Ubisoft was Far Cry 5, and I saw Far Cry 5, and that was my like, wow, I'm really happy to see the way this turned out. They got the developer for Far Cry 5 coming out, narrating the game, and I really like that because, damn, that man knows how to speak well. He just had me totally in the moment watching his gameplay, and you know what? For them to show me Mario plus Rabbids, the Kingdom Battle game, and me to look at that and go, wow, that's stupid, and then keep watching the trailer and go, wow, I'm going to buy that. You know what? I'll give him props for that. Number 3. I liked it.
Yeah, solid.
Yeah, and Bethesda, I think, was just solid. There was no huge announcement there was nothing that got me too excited, and there was no actual gameplay demos in the presentation, so I think that's where it lost points. But I think the stuff they did show, while predictable, was just overall really good. I'm very much excited for that Dishonored DLC. I think that's going to be awesome. Wolfenstein 2 looks amazing. But other than that, yeah.
That Beyond Evil Within trailer.
Oh yeah.
Let's take a moment.
It was
to talk
kind of a
about that.
mind fuck, and it wasn't like really showing me a lot that got me excited. Again, no gameplay demo, but it was just a big mind fuck of a trailer that made me
I
go
thought
like,
it was
oh, that's pretty cool.
beautifully made.
Yeah.
Like it really, really spoke to me that like this is where trailer art is going now. It reminded me a little bit of like those firms that make the intros for great HBO shows. You know what I mean? Like there's a great documentary that shows the companies that do that, like the Westworld intro or something like that. Like there's
Daredevil.
Yeah, they're weaving something beautiful in the aesthetics that the game will not look like, but at least we get to see a beautiful trailer. It's like what was that, Dead Island? Do you remember that one way back when?
I actually know the guy who made that trailer, but yeah.
All right, Liam.
It's a really good trailer.
I actually want Ubisoft to start making just like little animated shorts or something. Their cinematics, if you watch the Division cinematic, forget about how the game went. The cinematic trailer for the Division was incredible.
Excellent, yeah. Set up such a good story that really just
I was so excited, and then I was just so let down.
All right, now speaking of so excited but let down, this is number 2. So this is the conference that was great. You know, it gave us something that we wanted, or at least it was the second best of the crap, but it wasn't good enough to give us that wow moment. Number 2 for me, Microsoft. Anton, what was your number 2?
Microsoft.
Hey now.
Sony.
What was it?
Ubisoft.
Ugh.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So Anton and I, number 2 is Microsoft. I really am excited for what BioWare is going to do with Anthem. I've talked about it ad nauseum, but in this marketplace where there are the Destinies and so many other games that are going to a shared world action RPG, I think BioWare has the pedigree to make great new IP stuff. Like we think about everything in Mass Effect or Dragon Age that's just typical to sci-fi and fantasy tropes. They made it though. They made the Elcor. They made the Turians. They created these ideas. So that's what I want them to do now. I don't want them to keep making, except for Dragon Age, let them finish that off. I don't want them to make more Mass Effect or continue with these brands because they're kind of polluted now. Make new stuff. And I think it's almost impossible in this day and age, unless you are a CD Projekt Red, to make a big open world, comprehensive RPG. I think that it's just the amount of requirements that are needed, the technical requirements. You got to outsource some of that to Russia, and look what happens with Andromeda. So for me, literally, Anthem was enough. Anthem did it all for me.
I think in that sense, the point you made about the open world, I think Assassin's Creed also looks very promising because while there's no huge shifts in gameplay or gameplay mechanics that you can visibly see, if you go back and watch the trailers and the gameplay trailers, the world really seems fleshed out like a lot. And I think that's what they spent the 2 years or like the extra year or whatever really developing. And so that's something to keep an eye on, I think.
There we go. And Ubisoft was your number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to keep on that?
Yeah,
vein?
Just because I love that Sony press conference so much.
So number 2, Ubisoft. Tell us why you loved it so
Ubisoft, really promising for Assassin's Creed. That Beyond Good and Evil trailer blew my mind. And then Far Cry 5 looks solid. That didn't really blow me away, but I thought it looked good. And then, other than that, I don't really have anything else that was
The Mario.
of
Dude,
no.
that blew me
Mario
away.
caught my attention, but as I said to you, it really just made me want to go play XCOM. I don't think there's a lot I'm going to get out of that. That's going to, really change my life.
What about you, Jesse? Your number 2.
My number 2 was Sony. And I have to tell you, if you saw that Shadow of the Colossus, that HD remake, you know what I saw when I saw that, Andy? I saw fun. I saw fun, Andy. I want to replay that game. And you know what? Monster Hunter World, Sony just had a lot of games. They presented a lot of games where I looked at and I said, man, you know what? I could see myself having a lot of fun playing that.
You guys play? I've never gotten into Monster Hunters. I always thought I would it, but are they something?
I've put in close to like 300 hours in the last one.
Of course you have.
Yeah, but to be fair, I do agree with the fact Monster Hunter World is a game that was, I think, in Japan for like a year or has been announced, and we didn't know if we were going to get a North American release. What's
the thing? What's the draw with those games?
It is a game that you kill monsters, get gear, and then you go fight endgame content. That's basically
you
it.
have a lot of fun with your friends doing it.
Yeah. Oh, it's massive multiplayer?
No, it's
No.
not massively multiplayer.
It's like you and 3 other people hop into a room, and then you choose a mission, and then you go like
You
hunt
just
the
go have a
monster.
good
Kind of
old
like
time.
Ghost Recon, what we did there.
Yeah, but not at all.
Great. So
No
anything
guns.
else so Shadow just did it for you?
Shadow of
Jesse?
the Colossus made me remember a good time in games where you could just sit down with the
You're
old
not that
PS2
old,
and
man.
have some fun.
Jesus.
No, I'm not. You're right.
God damn
Yeah,
it.
but like
well, to be fair, Beyond Good and Evil for me. So yeah,
There you go.
God, you can't knock it till you try it. Speaking of which, Anton, your number 2 was Microsoft. Anything to add that I missed?
So my reasons were kind of different. It felt like they actually kind of tried. They felt like they were actually excited about this year as much as, if you haven't checked it out, check out the YouTube channel. But I wasn't like super impressed. At the same time, I will say they did well. They announced Crackdown 3, Metro. My favorite announcements were the fact that we have crossplay, even though it's just Minecraft. That opens up a path for other games.
What about backwards compatibility?
That was my second point. Backwards compatibility. I get to play Jet Set Radio Future. What was the one that they showed off? Ace Combat? Or
Yeah,
something?
Crazy
Crimson
Ace Combat.
Skies.
Crimson Sky.
Crimson Skies,
care.
man.
I didn't care for the game, but
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
it's the fact that we can now enjoy our original Xbox games, or soon to be,
Yeah, pretty soon.
on the Xbox One. Fantastic.
For a company that was accused of like not caring about gamers, I think they tried really hard to be like, we understand. Your Sony execs will say that there's the exec famously in the last 2 weeks that said, I don't understand why people want to play old games. And then Microsoft says, you know what? We're going to let you play the oldest games that we have. You can play them. So that's pretty awesome. Finally, we have our number 1. So these are the ones that when we look at the week and look into ourselves, we say, these people speak to our souls a little bit. What are our number 1s? I think we're not going to do the give them all away. We're not going to blow our load just yet. We're gonna take some time with it. So Anton, I'm going to go last because that's how this game works. Anton, you're number 1.
Number 1. You guys will totally disagree, but Bethesda. Hands down. I'm just going to say...
Hands down.
Hands down. Hands down. So as much as you guys were like, yeah, it was just like, a pre-recorded bullshit, blah, blah, blah. I was actually more excited about most of the games they announced versus anyone else. Like, cool, Shadow of the Colossus is great, but Evil Within was a fantastic Bethesda IP, and it had some of the original team that made the original Resident Evil. So it had that nice feel to it. It was a good story game. Love it. Wolfenstein. Fantastic. I just saw a chick who was pregnant stab a dude 7 times while another dude drops acid.
I was wondering what that was about. I needed someone to explain it to me, to be honest.
Absolutely bananas.
See, that was great. I think their biggest fault was the modding thing where you have to basically pay for mods. That was their biggest kind of drawback.
That's not 100% confirmed.
It's
but
not 100% confirmed, but it felt very implied to a certain extent. I think that was their biggest drawback. Just my thing was the games actually kind of spoke to me. So
There we go. Jesse, what about you? Your number 1, the thing that blew you away.
Bethesda.
Really?
Right there with Anton.
Liam,
Listen,
what the hell is wrong with these
Listen,
people?
I sat through their terrible VR games that I didn't care about. I sat through all of that. I saw them perhaps try to implement paid mods. We'll have to see where that goes, but hopefully they're not paid mods. But then I got to see that Wolfenstein trailer, and as somebody that loved that last Wolfenstein game, the New Order that came out, I played that game at least 10 times. That was some of the most
You did
fun
not
I've
beat
had.
that game 10 times.
Absolutely. Are you kidding?
he looks like the type.
Wolfenstein is one of the best stories in a game you can play. It had some incredible writing. It had 2 different storylines with 2 completely different characters. Frau Engel is back. Nazis in America. You can't tell me you didn't watch that scene with the Nazi in the ice cream parlor and just kind of get transported to the beginning of Inglourious Bastards. And just that writing for that game looks incredible. I can't wait to have some fun with that. Bethesda 1, hands down for me.
No Fallout at all.
That's fine.
No mention of
I'm
it.
still
Fallout
enjoying
VR.
Fallout 4.
Fallout VR is the biggest pile of dog
Listen, we don't
shit.
talk about VR
You
here.
played it?
So was PSVR.
So many people have played
no.
this.
All
So
VR.
many people have played this, and I've dabbled a little bit with VR, and especially for games like that where you need to move back and forth, it's not going to work. Or at least it doesn't work at this point. I don't believe you guys are that excited, and they didn't showcase their brand IPs of Fallout or Elder Scrolls.
I'm still having fun with Fallout 4.
And
Well, that's a
I'm
misnomer if
I'm
I've heard
fine
one.
with them not showcasing those ones because they gave me other things I gave a fuck about.
Incorrect. Liam Brand, you're number one.
Sony.
Oh,
That's just.
Can we
that's
fire
just-
him?
So good. All right.
Give us everyone had their time.
Let me take you down a trip. Trip down memory lane.
Let me take you down a trip. Everyone, take your acid. Let's listen to him. Maybe it'll make sense.
All right. We got new Uncharted. Looks absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. Amazing.
Well,
What was the best game of what is the best game of this year? It's Horizon Zero Dawn. We got some excellent looking DLC for that. We've got Shadow of the Colossus, which is, no brainer, amazing.
one of the best games ever made.
Yeah. And it just looks absolutely gorgeous. Days Gone, a game that, I was skeptical about, looks like a generic zombie game, actually showed off some meaningful, interesting mechanics and looks like an amazing game. Spider-Man looks like the best Spider-Man game since Spider-Man 2.
Those QuickTime events. Those QuickTime events.
It has QuickTime events, so what? The rest of the game looks
2002,
They'll
2002.
hear enough people bitching about it, and I guarantee you they'll cut down on them. But by
We
the time
saw
the game,
like 4, man.
yeah.
And they were at the
that
important
is
parts.
not nearly enough to ruin this game for me.
Okay, fair enough.
At all. And like that list alone, there's more that I'm probably escaping my mind briefly right now. They showed off some pretty interesting looking VR games, but I know you guys are all skeptical about that.
I'm not skeptical. It sucks.
Yeah, PSVR shit.
Okay.
Disagree
well,
what he said.
with that. I don't necessarily think it's shit. I just, yeah.
I'll stamp it.
Inpatient looks
out
pretty
of
good.
everything you guys have just named off, I don't think there is like as consistently awesome of a press conference as this one.
I have 4 words. Last of Us 2.
I know it was a big gaping hole in the middle of that press conference for sure, but that doesn't really.
I think you're
break
speaking out of a
the
big
press
gaping hole
conference.
at this
Yes.
moment.
Well,
No,
as
I get
Neil Druckmann put it, they were giving Nadia and Chloe their time to shine.
Oh, they're not real, Neil. You're a human. These are fake. You have a responsibility. God damn it. All right, fine. It's coming out like in 2019 or something anyway. They say it's going to be 2018. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone had their time. Now it's my turn.
Oh god.
Number one, and they know this because I've talked about it with you
Here's-
guys ad nauseum, but Ubisoft's press conference did something special. Right from the beginning, when we got to see David Solinier, or however you pronounce his name, being called out from Miyamoto, saying this guy was tasked with making a Mario game that wasn't about jumping, and he got to see his idol look at him and give him honor in the greatest stage of gaming and just break down in tears. The guy that made Assassin's Creed Origins coming out, when he could have talked about all the cool features, said, you know what, I'm going to take some time and recognize the hundreds of people that made this game. And then finally, with Marcel at the end, coming out with Beyond Good and Evil 2, literally in tears because he knows how long of a process this has been. All of those games that I mentioned really speak to the fact that they are made by people that care so much about a singular vision and want you to have fun too. That's what E3, that's why it excites me. Because it's the idea that people like us that love games, that live and die by the newest games, are being serviced by people that know that and want to bring you something special. That's why I have this show. That's why I waste our Wednesday nights talking about it. Because then it becomes something that's a little bit more than buttons and pixels. It becomes an idea. It becomes a feeling. And I agree. Crew 2, Just Dance. Okay, bye. Not for me, because that woman said that. And she had looked like she had no idea what she was talking about. Absolutely some missteps, but it just, I look at a conference and what makes it special, that for me is what makes it supremely special. Anything else, guys, to add?
You have a massive heart on for Ubisoft.
Nintendo is the true number one here.
What do you guys think? If you're watching this right now, who do you think won E3? We all have our opinions. Once more, Ubisoft,
The gamers.
wrong.
Nintendo and Bethesda.
I hate you, Sony.
Sony, there we go. This is VGS for Dialogue Wheel. Keep watching.